それでは時間になりましたので、始めさせていただきます。皆様、こんにちは。Link-J の林です。本日は Link-J による新しいスタートアップ支援プログラム、ユニコーンのキックオフ、英国進出への道しるべにご参加いただきましてありがとうございます。Link-J のユニコーンプログラムとそのファミリーですね、採択企業をご紹介する本日のイベントは、日本橋ライフサイエンスビルディングよりハイブリッドでお送りしております。プログラムを始める前にいくつかご案内です。本日はですね、画面にお示ししているよいしょ、プログラムに沿って進めてまいります。また、会場参加の方にはですね、講演終了後に10階のラウンジにてネットワーキングタイムをご用意しておりますので、ぜひ交流を深めていただければと思います。また、本日のイベントでは、同時通訳とウェビナーの英語字幕をご利用いただけます。会場での同時通訳は、会場入り口にご用意しておりましたレシーバーを使用します。後ろの方にもいくつかございますので、もしまだ受け取っていないよという方がいらっしゃいましたら、ぜひご利用ください。お帰りの際にはご返却をお願いいたします。また、字幕に関しましては、市販されているアプリを使用しておりまして、Link-Jをご訳、訳文の欠落等々、字幕に関する一切の責任を負いかねますので、ご了承をお願いいたします。また、本ウェビナーの録画、録音や画面のキャプチャー等は、固くお断りしておりますので、ご了承ください。最後になりますが、アンケートへのご協力のお願いです。会場の方はお配りしている用紙、またオンライン参加の方はですね、ウェビナーの終了後に表示されますリンクからアンケートフォームにお進みいただいて、皆様のご意見、ご感想をお聞かせいただけますと幸いでございます。それではお待たせいたしました。では、まずはじめにですね、Link-J 事務局長の高橋俊一より海外のご挨拶を申し上げます。高橋さん、お願いいたします。
皆さん、こんにちは。Link-J の高橋です。今日はハイブリッドということで、会場またはオンライン上に多くの方にご参加いただき、ありがとうございます。今、我々の Link-J のこの本日のプロジェクトのプロジェクトリーダーをしています林の方からもありましたけども、今日はユニコーン、これは Link-J が始めた新しいアクセラレータープログラムということになりますけれども、そのキックオフという日になります。で、このユニコーンはですね、昨年、秋にですね、東京都の協定事業である STEAM というプロジェクトの一つとして採択をされたものです。で、それから我々準備、またさまざまな協力者の方々と話を進めてきた中で、新たなプログラムという形で動かし始めたものです。そして今日はその後の採択をされた企業の方々をご紹介できる機会ということで、我々も大変嬉しく思っているところです。で、このユニコーンを通じて、我々は2つのことに注力をいたしました。で、まず1つというのは、例えば今、アクセラレータープログラムというものは、これ以外にたくさんあるわけですけども、アメリカ進出を目指したものが比較的多いのかなと思います。そういう中で、新しい技術というものを作っていく一つのオプションとして、アメリカ、もちろんそのマーケットとしては大きいわけですけども、それ以外のオプションがあってもいいのではないかというところで、我々いろいろな方々とご相談をした上でですね、イギリスというものが一つのオプションとして、ご提案したいなということになりました。で、もちろんその新しい技術を必要としている人たちというのは、アメリカのみならずですね、さまざまな世界中にいるわけで、患者さんも世界中にいる、そういう中で、どういうふうにイノベーションを社会実装していくかという中で、さまざまなオプションを提供したいという考えの一つです。それからもう一つ、2つ目ですね。これは、アクセラレータープログラムっていうものの中に、もっと我々としては、よりビジネス展開をしていくところにフォーカスをしたいというふうにも考えています。ですから今回のプログラム、後でもしかしたらもう少し説明もあるかもしれませんけども、イギリス側のメンターの方々、また我々のイギリス側のパートナーである松永さんという方、後でご紹介もあるかもしれませんが、そういう方々にきちっと入っていただいて、現地のニーズ、またはビジネスチャンスというものをきちっと捕まえられるようなですね、そういうようなプログラムに仕上げていきたいなという思いで始めたものです。 で、少し長丁場になるプログラムであるんですが、今日その最初の日ということで、ここでご紹介をできるということを、我々も大変嬉しく思いますし、我々自身としてもですね、これが非常にいいプログラムに育っていってほしいという願いも持っております。ぜひ、皆様でご協力いただきながら、このプログラムを仕上げていきたいというふうに思います。本日はどうぞよろしくお願いいたします。
高橋さん、ありがとうございました。続いてですね、本日、来賓としていらっしゃっております、駐日英国大使館、アジア太平洋地域ライフサイエンス部長であります、由良様から、ご挨拶をいただければと思います。由良様、よろしくお願いいたします。
皆様、こんにちは。私、英国大使館の、貿易通商部のライフサイエンス担当の由良と申します。よろしくお願いします。で、本日はまず、このようなイベントにお呼びいただき、Link-J様に大変感謝しております。と同時に、こういったユニコーンプログラムを立ち上げて進めていらっしゃることに関しても、もう本当に絶大な感謝があります。こういった日本企業に限らず、バイオテックの英国進出というのは、私ども英国政府の方針と全く合致するもので、なんですけれども、当初、現在、大使館と政府の予算、リソースのちょっと限りが非常にありまして、このような民間の形で積極的に進めていただけるのは本当にありがたい話だと感じております。出ます、5分ですので、一般ちょっとバックグラウンドを申し上げますと、皆様ご存知のように、英国というのはもう数百年間にわたってライフサイエンスをリードしている国でありまして、今日でも例えばコロナウイルスの開発ですとか、あるいはちょっと遡りますけど、DNA の構造決定ですとか、そういった面で、今でも世界をリードしている国家であると言っていいかと思います。で、そういった中で、現在、皆様ご存知のように、特にここ数年間、その創薬において、いろいろ技術が急速に進んでいるのと、あとは多様化が進んでいて、いろんなモダリティもどんどん出てきておりますので、従来の製薬メーカーの、なんて言いますか、そのインハウス、そうは言わなかったんですけど、インハウス的なモデルで、それぞれ製薬メーカーさんが自社の研究所で研究を進めていくということでは、やはりちょっともう対応しきれないという状況に、これはもう世界的になっていると思います。で、そういった中で、いわゆる、エクスターナルイノベーションが進めておりまして、そうなってきますと、バイオテックの重要性はもうますます高まってきてて、おそらく今後はそのバイオテック企業が創薬研究をもう牽引するエンジンとなっていくのではないかと、これは多くの人がそう言ってるんですけども、私も全くその通りだと思っておりますので、バイオテックはとにかく大事。で、イギリスはそういう認識しておりまして、やはりその英国の産業、医薬品産業を盛り上げるには、こういったバイオテックを、しかもその世界中から来ていただいて、英国で活躍していただくのが非常に大事だということで、いろんな面でそういった積極的な支援策を進めております。で、ちょっと私、宿題をしてきたんですけれども、UK バイオインデストリーアソーシエーションの2023年の報告書によりますと、例えば、エクイティファイナンシングで言いますと、英国が22年度は約18億ポンドですので、今200円だから3600億円ぐらいになりますか、になっています。で、さらにVC の投資を見ますと、ヨーロッパ全体のうちの 40% 以上が英国に行っているということ。それから、バイオテックあるいは医薬品企業の、これは株価、ロンドン市場で上市している会社の株価の総額が、コロナ前から比べて250% 上がっているということなので、投資の面、それからその投資に見合うようなリターンの面でも、英国はここ数十年間非常に順調に進んでいるということが言えるかと思います。で、さらに臨床試験の、数ですとか、あるいはその M&A、あるいはライセンシングの件数を見ましても、イギリスはヨーロッパ一ということになっております。ヨーロッパであって世界一と言えないのは、先ほど話がありましたように、アメリカがやはり結果ですとダントツで一番なんですけれども、また今日話があるかと言いますけど、いろいろ文化的な面で英国には英国の良さがありますので、必ずしもUS が第一チョイスでいいかどうかっていうのはいろいろ深く考える必要があるかと、個人的には考えております。またそういったディスカッションがいつかあればいいかと思っております。で、あとはそういった意味で非常に大きな土壌がありますので、英国 関しては日本とかそういった企業の進出を非常に歓迎しております。で、これは、私、あんまり野球はフォローしないんですけれども、昨今、日本の野球選手がアメリカですごく活躍しているという話もあって、そういったイメージですね。ちょっと名前が出てこないので、私がいかに野球に興味ないかっていう話なんですけど、そういうような形で、日本のバイオテック様が、例えばイギリスに来て、で、そこで大きく発展して、こういった資金もこれも、英国に来ればもうそれ当然アクセスできることですから、そこで発展されて、さらにその英国を例えば出発点として、さらに世界に発展していくと、そういうこと。そうすることは、その企業さんにはもちろんいいことでありますし、英国、その日本にとってもそれはいいことなので、どんどん積極的にやっていきます。で、最後に、8社の方々、非常におめでとうございます。一研究者として、今日の話に非常に興味を持って聞きますし、正直言うとちょっと羨ましいなという気持ちがあるんですけれども、どうも、気持ちはありがとうございました。
ゆら様、ありがとうございました。では、ここからですね、ユニコーンプログラムの、キックオフの本体の方に入っていくということになりますけれども、ではまずですね、私の方から、ユニコーンプログラムとは何なのかという、このプログラム全体のですね、概要を、ご説明した後にですね、今回このプログラムに採択されたユニコーンファミリーである、8社の皆さんに、ピッチをしていただきます。で、まず、プログラム概要なんですけれども、先ほどオープニングのところで高橋からございましたように、このプログラムは、東京都の協定事業の一つとして、実施されております。で、ユニコーンとしては、Link-J がその東京都の協定事業の、協定事業者として採択されて、このユニコーンプログラムを、企画運営しているという形でございます。で、このプログラムの一番のミッションというのは、日本のライフサイエンススタートアップの皆さんをですね、UK をエントリーポイントとした、海外進出をお助けするというところにございます。で、その中において、Link-J がイギリスに持っているですね、アライアンス、提携を結んでいる団体さん、具体的にはバイオスパイアさん、今日松永さんいらっしゃいますけども、バイオスパイアさん、ワンヌクレアス、それからロンドンパートナーズメドシティといったようなイギリスの各エコシステムで、こういったエコシステムの、支える、サポートするような支援をしている団体と協力してですね、このプログラムをご提供していくということでございます。で、少し細かいスライドになるんですけれども、このユニコーンプログラムでは大きく3つの支援プログラムがございます。1つはメンタリングと BD、いわゆる事業開発のサポートということで、ここが一番メインになってくるんですけれども、UK、それからLink-J、日本側ですね、メンターを通じてですね、参加している皆さんにメンタリングセッション、それからこの後出てきますけど、アドバンストプログラムといい少し手厚いところでは、イギリス現地での GoTo マーケット、あるいは BD サポートという形でサポートさせていただきます。また、真ん中のエキシビションサポート、展示会のサポートということに関しましては、メインになってくるのは、この11月のバイオヨーロッパになります。バイオヨーロッパ、今年はスウェーデンのストックホルムで開催されますけれども、そちらの方にですね、皆さん行っていただいて、それで実際に商談、あるいは事業を紹介していただくという形で、Link-J としてはですね、このユニコーンプログラムを通じて、その渡航費のサポート、それから展示ブースを設置してですね、皆さんの事業を紹介していただくという形になっております。で、また3点目に関しまして、一番右側ですけど、プロモーションサポートという形で、Link-J のプラットフォームを用いてですね、このユニコーンファミリーの皆さんの露出を増やしてですね、どんどん、ネットワークを増やしていただきたいという形で、Link-J メンバーシップということもありますけども、こういった形でサポートをしていくということでございます。で、一番下にありますけれども、このプログラムに関しては、アドバンストプログラムというのに3社、それから、エッセンシャルプログラムという形で、少しライトな、内容になっている部分に関して5社の、皆さんにご参画いただいております。で、こちらが、ユニコーンファミリーの皆さんでございます。順番にご紹介しますと、アドバンストコースには、Auxilart さん、それから、iXgene さん、ペプチグロースさんにご参画いただいています。また、エッセンシャルコースの方に関しては、アークスさん、エルピクセルさん、PuRECさん、FerroproCure さん、そしてSyntheticGestaltさんにご参画いただいております。ありがとうございます。 で、また、このメンタリングをするにあたってですね、先ほどから UK メンター、Link-J メンターというふうに申し上げてますけども、こういった形で、非常に日本、それから UK 側で、ビジネス経験ある、そしてライフサイエンスの、領域でですね、非常にご経験のある皆さんに、ご賛同いただいて、メンターとして、参画いただいています。また、水色で囲っているところが、UK メンターという形、実際にアドバンストコースの方に、ワンオンワンで、メンタリングセッションを、提供いただく方々ですが、iXgene さんには、ドクター・ティム・ハート、それからAuxilartさんには、サムエル・コーエンさん、そして、ペプチグロースさんには、マーカス・ヤさん、本日会場にもいらしていただいてますけど、マーカスさんに、メンターという形で、参加いただいています。ありがとうございます。で、また、プログラムのスケジュール、長丁場という形になりますけれども、4月にですね、募集をして、それが選定をしたわけで、本日、5月の22日がキックオフという形になります。で、11月のバイヨーロッパを目指してですね、これから日本でまず、メンタリングセッション、それからレクチャーであったり、あるいは、フィードバックセッションなんていうような、セッションを、経た後にですね、11月のバイヨーロッパで、欧州、あるいは、UK の方に、渡航していただいて、現地での BD、事業開発、あるいは、事業の、商談という形で実施いただいて、その後、日本に戻ってきた後に、フォローアップセッションであったり、あるいは、この東京都の事業自体が来年の3月までということですので、その時に、ポストイベントという形で、いわゆるこの、ここでできたコミュニティというものを、一過性で終わらせないと。どんどん継続していって、これを元にしてコミュニティを広げていくというような、ふうにも、我々として考えておりますので、ぜひ、皆さんでこのユニコーンファミリーをですね、どんどん増やしていきたいというふうに考えています。では、ここまでが、ユニコーンプログラムの、概要となりました。で、いよいよですね、ここからスタートアップの皆さんに、ピッチをしていただきますけれども、ここからですね、進行の方、英語で、やりたいと思います。スタートアップの皆さんのピッチに関しても英語ということになりますので、よろしくお願いいたします。So now, let's move on to the exciting part of today. So we're going to have 8 companies. So each company will have 3 minutes session. Sorry, 5 minutes to present their own business. So I would like to introduce the first company. The first one is Auxilart, represented by Mr. Kim.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kim from Auxilart, and we provide digital simulation services by modeling drug production better than AI with only 1% of data needed. Please imagine a scenario where a new drug has discovered in a lab on micro scale or milliliter scale. Then the challenge becomes scaling this up to thousands of liter scale for commercialization. And this scaling process includes optimization of various conditions like concentration, temperature, pH, and storing rate. Traditionally demands thousands of experiments, $100 million of development cost, and 6 years of development time for a single new drug. And consider the global landscape where there are 20,000 such pipelines. The magnitude of the challenge is immense. Auxilart's innovative solution replaced the experiments with our simulation services to cut down the number of required experiments and saving enormous financial resources and development time. In our actual client case regarding antibody drug production, antibody cultivation processes, we could develop a highly accurate model that can reproduce the experimental results so that we could cut down the necessary time and also the financial resources. Our core technology is mathematical models. We have developed dozens of mathematical models for different drug modalities such as small molecules, biopharmaceuticals, and regenerative medicines. And different from AI or machine learning models, which requires a huge amount of data. In mathematical models, we could develop such models with minimal number of data compared to AI. We have strong members. We have amazing members with strong background in pharmaceutical modeling development and also business development. And Kei Okita is also joining today's event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kim-san. So next speaker is Mr. Mizuno representing iXgene, please.
Hi, good evening. I'm Atsushi. I'm CEO of iXgene. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak here. Oh, sorry. Okay. We are challenging to develop new medicine for interactive disease with genome editing and iPS technology. Our first target is malignant brain tumor GBM. GBM accounts for 48% of all primary brain tumors. GBM is extremely interactive disease. The survival rate of 5 years is less than 5%. So why is glioblastoma interactive disease? The reason is shown in this image. Glioblastoma deeply embedded into the brain, so it is difficult to surgically remove completely. And another reason is anti-cancer drug cannot reach into the brain due to the blood-brain barrier. So therefore, our goal is how to deliver anti-cancer drugs to glioblastoma beyond the blood-brain barrier. For delivering anti-cancer drug into the brain, we have developed therapeutic neural stem cells with C-cell gene from iPSC by genome editing. So what is the C-cell gene and how do it work? Normally, anti-cancer drug cannot into the brain, but the product of anti-cancer drug can pass through the blood-brain barrier into brain. The C-cell gene can convert product to anti-cancer drugs only near the therapeutic NACs. Now, let me explain the actual treatment method. Glioblastoma is removed as much as possible, and therapeutic neural stem cells is implanted around the residual tumor. Neural stem cells migrate to the tumor by sensing chemokines, so the implanted or therapeutic neural stem cells moved towards the residual tumor. Actually, the therapeutic neural stem cells implanted into the mouse brain moved the other side of the brain where tumor is located. And after therapeutic cells have accumulated in the tumor, administered product cross the blood-brain barrier and spread to the entire brain. Products are converted to anti-cancer drugs only near the C-cell gene. The high concentration of the anti-cancer drugs kills all remaining tumor cells like this image. When the glioblastoma is implanted in the mouse, the glioblastoma grow and mouse die. But on the other hand, our therapeutic group kills all implanted glioblastoma. In addition, our therapeutic neural stem cells significantly prolong survival, and surprisingly, 33% of mice in this study survived without any recurrence. These results shows our therapeutic neural stem cells overcome the interactable glioblastoma. This is a competitive analysis. Our therapeutic neural cells have 4 advantages, and major advantage is specific delivery to tumor and the potential of manufacturing. We plan to start GLP study in this year, and next year we will start clinical trial in Japan. And Next, we will expand application from brain tumors to brain injury and other intellectual cancer with a high number of patients. This is our member. We are a startup from Keio University. We have experience, science, technology, business, and pharmacology experience. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Mizuno-san. Okay, let's move on to the next and the third advanced startups, Pepti Growth.
Hi everyone, my name is Yosuke Shimaru, Head of Business Development and Marketing of Pepti Growth. It's a great honor to be selected by UNIKORN project. So I would like to express our appreciation to Link-J and all party involved. So Pepti Growth is developing novel peptide for industrialization of cell therapy and regenerative medicine. The pipeline of regenerative medicine and cell therapy continues to expand as promising treatment options, but industrialization of cell therapy and regenerative medicine faces some barriers, one of which is manufacturing. Especially growth factors and cytokines is most problematic one because of its poor property. In order to overcome those challenges, we have established Pepti Growth in 2020 by utilizing proprietary peptide screening technologies. We have been developed synthetic peptide, which have more functional and high quality and easy to produce compared to conventional recombinant growth factors. We aim to become the global gold standard in the growth factor industry by comprehensively and concurrently developing growth factor alternative peptides, and that will bring innovation to cell therapy and regenerative medicine, and in future also cellular agriculture. Here's the advantages of our peptide compared to conventional growth factors. By producing peptide through completely chemical synthesis process, Pepti Growth can solve all the challenges associated with conventional recombinant growth factors, such as quality variation between manufacturing batches, low stability, unstable production system, and high production cost. So we have already launched 10 products to date. Multiple pharmaceutical company and academia in Japan and also United States have already decided to use our peptide for their regenerative medicine and cell therapy manufacturing protocols. And our current focus is on developing FGF2 alternative peptide. We have already developed peptide which have very, very promising activities, and we plan to launch it in this September. So FGF2 is a commonly used growth factor for culturing cells, many types of cells like iPS cells, mesenchymal stem cells, but it has challenges in stability and cost. So we believe that our peptide, FGF2 alternative peptide, will be a game changer in the cell culture industry. So this is the last slide. To make Japanese technology the global gold standard through this UNIKORN program, we are going to leverage our mentors' deep market insights and broad connection with UK life science industry. And we will develop and execute strategies for establishing our brand awareness and expanding our business in the untapped UK market. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Ushimaru-san. And the next speaker is Tanase-san representing Auxilart.
Hello everyone, I'm CEO of Auxilart Incorporated. We are revolutionizing the fertility treatment using AI and robotics technologies. Currently, infertility treatment is a global issue. According to a report by WHO, approximately 1 in 6 people have experienced infertility at some stage in their lives globally. Our business specifically targets assisted reproductive technology within the field of infertility treatment. This process consists of 3 main steps. First, egg and sperm collected from the patient are fertilized on a 1-to-1 basis. Next, the fertilized eggs are cultured in an incubator for about a week to develop into embryos. Finally, the high-quality blastocytes are transferred back to the patient. Over the process, a problem is that the overall success rate is very low at 38%. We focus on the insemination process that is a bottleneck for the overall success rate. Insemination basically has 2 parts of the process. The first one is the sperm selection. This is difficult to select the one best sperm from among the several hundred sperms. And the second one is the sperm injection. This is difficult to master advanced techniques. Our solution automates these processes. In sperm selection, we have developed an AI system capable of sorting sperm through detailed image analysis. And now it can reduce the detection time to approximately 1/10 with the same detection accuracy as an expert. And in injection process, our goal is to fully automate this process and achieve above expert performance. It's now possible to control the automatic tracking of manipulators to the detected sperm. Our product takes a different approach than competitors. Rather than a standalone automation device, our product is an attachment to the existing microscope set easily and reasonably. Furthermore, if a problem arises, the system allows the user to override the system and safely perform the procedure like a level 3 automated driving system. Our business model is based on 2 models. The first one is package sales model, and the second one is a subscription model. As shown in this slide, global market size grows at the annual rate of more than 6%. Currently, we are in the pre-seed phase and still researching and developing. We aim to launch our product in next year. And in next phase, we plan to build a structure for international expansion. And finally, let me introduce our team. I worked at Toyota as an automated driving system before, and I was in charge of a medical AI startup that spun out from National Cancer Center. And we have been steadily advancing in research and development with a strong support from teams led by Professor Ikeuchi from Tokyo Medical and Dental University and Professor Kawamura from Juntendo University, who have previously researched sperm selection AI. Thank you very much.
Then I would like to introduce the next speaker, Mr. Byford from L-Pixel.
Okay, thank you very much for coming today, everybody. My name's Elliot from the Global Business Development Office at L-Pixel. We're very excited to have been selected for the Unicorn program, so thank you very much to Link-J and all the judges. I'd like to take a few minutes just to introduce our company and a little bit about our aims for Unicorn as well. So L-Pixel develops AI image analysis solutions for the life science and medical industries. So we've been doing this for 10 years in Japan now, and we've built up in those 10 years a base of technology, talent, and know-how that enables us to develop a solution to address pretty much any challenge that involves a visual component in the life sciences, ranging from detecting small, difficult to detect brain aneurysms from MRI scans to finding very hard to spot colon polyps during colonoscopy in real time, to tracking and analyzing behavior of cute little lab mice, So we have two businesses. On the left is Ale. This is our lineup of software as a medical device products that are used in clinics and help doctors detect abnormalities from a radiological scan, such as X-ray, CT, MRI, and also colonoscopy. And these products have been installed in over 630 hospitals and clinics in Japan and performed over 5 million analysis. On the right is EMACell. This is the umbrella under which we provide solutions for R&D processes for life science companies. And so in this business, we aim to provide the automation needed to dramatically reduce time and labor requirements for experiments whilst improving objectivity and reproducibility. As far as UNIKORN is concerned, we are going to focus on the EMACell business. And as I mentioned earlier, we can cover a very large range across the life sciences, but to make a more targeted approach for entering the UK and European market, we're going to focus on the drug development value chain, of which we cover the entirety as we also deal with clinical imaging. In particular, we want to focus on these first two parts, drug discovery and preclinical research, because we have extensive experience in this area and a lot of projects and a lot of achievements to show. So for example, here are some products that we've been developing in the past. On the left, we successfully implemented a high throughput phenotypic screening solution for a large pharmaceutical company by automatically categorizing and quantifying cells based on their morphology, so how they change in response to a drug. In the middle, we automated the process of manually looking through the pathology slides to detect toxicology in drug toxicity studies. And on the right, we're coming up with a new research method by analyzing the behavior of disease model mice and normal mice, and then automatically finding differences in their behavior. We have a lot of objectives for UNIKORN, but one of them is to obviously understand the UK and European pharmaceutical market on a deeper level than would be possible on our own. In particular, we want to answer this question: how do we translate our successes with the Japanese pharmaceutical companies into the UK and Europe? And we hope that with Link-J and senior figures in the pharmaceutical industry's advice, we can achieve that. And ultimately, our ultimate goal is to this year get our first international project in the EMACell business. So we look forward to having business discussions and negotiations at Bio Europe. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And the next speaker is Takahashi-san, representing PuREC.
Okay. Thank you very much for this great opportunity. I'm very honored to be selected as a member of the UNIKORN program. Thank you for the Link-J and many other advisors here. Okay, our company is a cell therapy company. So let me introduce our first target of our therapy. That is hypophosphatasia. Hypophosphatasia is a gene defection and causing the more bone formation disease. And actually, it's a very ultra rare disease. Probably it's a 1 in 150,000 patient. Probably we have only 100 to 200 patients in Japan. Unfortunately, there is no cure at this moment. But several years ago, artificial enzyme injection was developed. So many people are surviving by having this artificial enzyme, but enzyme is very expensive, like 300,000 for babies and $2 million for surviving adult. Also, quality of life for the patient is very not good because they need, say, 3 shots a week injection, perpetually, lifetime. We'd like to be a game changer by having our cell therapy called REC. Can we do it? We believe so. The reason is we have a precedent. Some years ago, actually more than 10 years ago, Dr. Taketani of the Shimane University faced, say, baby with this hypophosphatasia patient, very fragile bone. But by having the same mesenchymal stem cell injection from the healthier body's bone marrow, bingo, after some months, a baby started to formulate bones by himself. That was good. However, after some years, like 4 years old, 5 years old, efficacy died away. So he badly required a better cell. It's a very casual way of saying, but he found a better cell. That is a cell invented by our very founder, Yumi Matsuzaki, at that time at the Keio University. And she shifted the same place to University of Shimane now. Though by having these two kind of inventions, we formulated a PuREC company 7 years ago. Then the REC is provided from the human bone marrow and derived from bone marrow by using a cell sorter. Only the very strong fraction can be the population candidate for the REC after having the meticulous quality check. And REC has as it named, its acronym rapidly expanding cells. It shows greater expandability, and also it has a greater differentiation ability. And to most important point, it has a great migration ability throughout the body. So in short, it's a very low cost production and efficacy is expected and also looks like safe. So it's like a drug. So we are now having, say, 2 clinical applications in Japan. But luckily, in this country, we have already approved the products for the multiple indication by the MSC in Japan. But all of them are based on the plaque line effect so far, so-called. But we are targeting, of course, we can do it, but we are targeting more difficult to target. That is a regeneration of the organ, especially bone and cartilage. The first program is for the hyposphagia at our mother university, Shimane University. We just have a green light for the first injection this summer. So we are expecting to have 3 trial patient injection. And also, this was already somehow completed by the surgeon, but at the Hokkaido University. But the spinal canal stenosis for the local injection to expect a regeneration of the disc is already performed. So by having these kind of 2 programs as a main target, we also have other targets to, aside from the bone and the cartilage, somehow, I don't have time to explain fully, but the mitochondrial disease is another good target by having this kind of, stem cell approach. Our company is still small, like 14 members, located in Shimane as well as in Tokyo, but quite seasoned in many areas. And we are very hopeful to have development partners and investors throughout this UNIKORN program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Takahashi-san and the PuREC team. So next speaker is Otsuki-san from FerroproCure. Over yours.
Hi, everyone. I'm Yuji Otsuki, CEO and co-founder of FerroproCure. I'm honored to be selected as a UNIKORN family. Thank you very much. So we, FerroproCure, are developing ferroptosis-inducing anti-cancer therapy. Do you know what 90% means in cancer treatment? An alarming 90% of all relapse and mortalities are caused by the resistance to chemotherapy. We solve this problem. Cancer cells get the resistance to chemotherapy by this antioxidative system. This system originally protects cancer cells from oxidative stress to suppress ferroptosis. And ferroptosis is normal form of cell death induced by oxidative stress. But recently, it's revealed that this system can protect cancer cells even from chemotherapy. So this system is highlighted as a new target of anti-cancer therapy. We FerroproCure induce cancer cell death via our original unique synthetic lethality system by breaking this system. Our treatment showed a strong anti-tumor effect in colon cancer mouse model. We could reduce tumor volume by 83%. And this is one of our in vivo data. We could reproduce this strong anti-tumor effect in other solid cancer, such as lung, breast, and so on. Moreover, there are huge side effects. For example, there is no weight loss. Our initial target is triple negative breast cancer. Then we intend to expand our target to all breast cancer and all solid cancers in the future to get a huge market. There are 3 companies developing similar solutions, but our drug has a stronger effect while being safer, and our drug also has the widest range of indication. Moreover, we already started phase 1 clinical study, so we expect to clinic fast. Phase 1 clinical study of FC01 is now in progress from January 2024 in National Cancer Center. And in FC01, we use a unique strategy to develop new novel anti-cancer therapy by using 2 existing drugs. And we are now developing FC03. FC03 is our first project with novel new compound. So then we intend to raise our Series A funding $50 million in 2025 to mainly to conduct phase 2 clinical study, EU or US. This is our team. Our team consists of top academic and industry members. And we have raised $4 million last year from these VCs. Which we believe UK is the best entrance point to expand our business or science globally. So our ask as follows. We're looking for partnership and US and EU resource such BD and regulatory science expert and chance of fundraising. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Otsuki-san. And the next and last but not least, Fujiyoshi-san representing SyntheticGestalt.
Hi, my name is Kotaro. I'm head of CEO office at SyntheticGestalt. We're very honored to be here and be selected for the UNIKORN program. Thank you very much. And yeah, let me introduce our company briefly. Back to our introduction. We're a company primarily made up of machine learning and life science specialists. Our founders believe that the biggest contribution one can make to society is in the creation of inventions. So inventions that allowed the industrial revolution to take place, for example, or for the mankind to reach the moon, have expanded the boundaries of what humankind can do. So it is the vision of our company to achieve mass production of inventions through AI to allow us to play a leading role in the advancement of civilization, hopefully. So what do we actually do? We develop technological solutions to the life science industry at the moment. We're developing a platform to facilitate a dream of mass producing discoveries. So leveraging this AI platform, we create deliverables such as new medicines, new enzymes, etc., to create business cases. For example, using the power of our AI platform, we have so far discovered novel enzymes that break down plastics and numerous other promising compounds for the industries listed here. One of our latest advancements is in the development of the world's largest molecular AI. We call it the SG41B. It's a bit long. It is basically the world's largest molecular version of GPT-4, which is the driving force behind the powerful ChatGPT platform, as you know. So let me explain the concept behind SG41B, which we're so proud of. As you all know, the advancement of pre-trained models has been transformative in the fields of text generation and image generation, such as ChatGPT and stability image generation. This is what we hope to achieve in the molecular realm with our model. The application of pre-training principles to molecular data is still uncommon, but we believe that there is a great potential in this area. So there are many other companies trying to develop this pre-training type model in the area, but we are very far ahead in terms of the representation of the compounds and the number of training data. Skipping through a lot of slides. So what is good about the high dimension representation of compounds and numerous data inputs is that the knowledge gained through the models can exceed the imaginations of experts, and also the model becomes extensively applicable due to the vast amounts of data. We use 1 billion compounds provided by a CRO called Enamine, and use 4D representations of the model. And compared to many competing models, we have achieved very high accuracies with regards to actual experimental data in predicting drug likeness of molecules. We have also internally validated the fact that the higher dimensions you represent the compounds, so as you go from 2D to 4D, and as you increase the number of data from 1 million to 1 billion, the accuracy of the model's predictions increase. So using this very high accuracy model that can improve the accuracy levels of AIs in general, we hope to produce numerous inventions to help other R&D companies achieve their R&D goals. So yeah, thank you. That's my presentation.
Thank you so much, Fujie-san, and thank you very much, all the UNIKORN family companies. So as I mentioned, thanks to everyone's excellent time management skill, we have a 10-minute Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand on the floor. And also, if you're doing this online, please put your question in the Q&A box. 同日訳ですので、日本語でも大丈夫です。ご質問よろしくお願いいたします。Any questions? If there is no question, I'm gonna name so actually we have one of the Link-J mentors on the floor, Matsushita-san.
Rather than question, but I would like to convey my congratulations to all of the winners. And actually, you know, I heard all of your presentation together with very detailed material, and I was really impressed by the advancement of your technology and also your strategy for potential globalization. So coming back to your request, I have a potential question. Actually, right, and to Biotech growth on Wilson, and I'm very curious about the variety of your product portfolio already. And your company have launched, let's say, something like the 10 peptide, and also you are currently developing basic FGF, and you said that could be a game changer for the cell and cell cultures. So the question to your company is that. And you explained that your company have developed all those peptides, and by chemical synthesis, right? You do not use kind of a cell animal cell cultures.
Yes, we don't need to. We don't need to use any kind of cell for the manufacturing.
Okay,
process.
so how in general how your company is evaluating biological activities?
Thank you very much for your question. First, we pick up the peptide which can bind to the target receptor, target ligand and target ligands receptor, and then we usually dimerize by PEG linker. So this is a fundamental structure of a peptide, and then we validate by cell-based assay, like we check the affinity to the receptor, and we check the cell signaling, like PuREC, and we check also the phenotype, like the proliferation and the differentiation of some types of cells. So this is the flow of our validation.
Okay, thank you very much for your explanation. Very helpful. Thank you. Thank you for your muchaburi, Hayashi.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matisse. It really helped. So, any other questions from the floor or online? Looks like no questions online. So, okay, so we're gonna have a bit longer break. So we're gonna have 15-minute break until 5:15, and we're gonna convene for the panel discussion, and we'll be joined by our mentor, Mr. Philip Fauchet, and Dr. Tim Hart, and Mr. Samuel Conway via online. And on the floor, we're gonna have Dr. Marcus Yao, and as a moderator, Dr. Matsunaga. So we're gonna reconvene at 5:15 here. So we're gonna have a break. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'd like to start the panel discussion part today. So as I said, this part will be joined by Mr. Philip Fauchet and Dr. Tim Hart and Mr. Samuel Conway. So this session will be moderated by Dr. Matsunaga, who is from Biospire, and Biospire is a kind of partner of Link-J at the UK for this program and the program too. So Matsunaga, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, Hayashi-san. Yes, so my name is Masashi, and based in the UK, and working in Japan this week for the hosting this event. And we are welcoming the panelists from online, which is still on technical issues. So maybe we can start introducing to ourselves. And we got great mentors. I see 1, 2, 3. Yes, we can see Philip, Sam, Tim. Hello, how are you?
Very good.
Yeah, good. Very good. All right, thanks for joining. So maybe we can start the introduction to ourselves. We want to do maybe Marcus, your on site. So can you introduce yourself, and including what part you are good at and what you are expert in the field, in the life science, please?
Yeah, but thank you, Masashi, and thank you, Link-J, for being here. I'm not sure if I'm good at anything, but I certainly say my background is in company development of stem cell companies, mainly in the Oxford and Cambridge area, using that ecosystem and developing companies from first principles through IP management, seed funding, going through angel networks, ultra high net worth individuals, through to institutional investors as the company grows. So hopefully I can impart a bit of that in this roundtable discussion.
Great, thank you. And Marcus has been a friend for many years, and he will support Pept Growth as a mentor. Thanks very much. And online from Philip, you joining from very far, I heard. And can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, thank you. I'm usually based in Japan, but now I am in San Francisco, actually, and actually to attend the board of a biotech company here. And so I have been present in Japan for like 5 years in the past, and leading companies like Sanofi and also GSK. And I have also been the head of the global BD of Sanofi for a while. So my background is more on the commercial side and general management, and I'm also currently more connected to the Japanese ecosystem, trying to help Japanese biotechs. I'm on the board of 3 Japanese biotechs, among others, and consulting for some companies. And I try to also support Link-J in this very nice program, and the one to try to develop those Japanese biotechs to be more attractive and performing on a global stage with my colleagues on the panel.
Great, thank you very much, Philip. So he's based in Japan and now traveling to the US and joining online, but he's quite having a senior background and leading non-Japanese pharma companies and leading in Japan. So he's joining us for the program as a mentor based in Japan, and he will advise for the comprehensively to the delegate. Thanks very much. Next, Samuel, please.
Hi, yeah, Samuel Conway. Very nice to meet everyone, and it was great to see the pictures earlier. I guess you could say I'm quite an experienced entrepreneur. Originally Australian, now live in the UK, in the image analysis and AI space, previously with my last company. That turned out to be quite successful. And then 4 years ago, I started to mentor startups and have worked for a number of different organizations and mentored startups in a number of industries. And I think, you know, if you look at what my strength is, it's really creating and crafting strategies around how you can actually scale and grow your business. Because sometimes that's not always obvious, and there are lots of different challenges that you have to face along the way. And I guess I've been fortunate in many ways to have been faced with all of those challenges, made many mistakes in entrepreneurship, and learn from all of them. So now I'm in quite a unique position to have a very broad base of knowledge and background, and to be able to apply that to incredible startups and incredible technology that I see coming out of various academic institutions, and also through programs like this. So I'm very excited to be involved, and my connection to Japan is that I lived in Japan in 2000, 2001, and I've been to Japan maybe 10 times. So I'm now studying Japanese, and yeah, it's great fun.
Excellent, thank you. So some studies in Japanese, and his maybe Japanese might be better than my English. Thank you. And Tim, please.
Hello, hi, yes. So my name is Tim Hart, and I have background in life sciences. I have spun out a couple of life science companies from universities, and now I continue to support Masashi and his activities in this opportunity that we greatly believe in how we can help deep tech SMEs, particularly from the Japanese sector, in order to scale through helping them access resources from the UK in particular. And that's to the benefit of these businesses to internationalize and make that step change. And also to the benefit of the UK life science sector, which we believe is a fantastic opportunity for organizations outside of the UK. So I'm excited to continue to evidence that this is a wonderful principle of being able to help deep tech SMEs scale through accessing resources in different environments.
Great, thank you very much. Yeah, Tim is my friend for nearly 30 years, and he was my mentor when I was doing PhD in the UK. And I saw like British people is more like a conservative, but he's quite international and open-minded and funny person. Thank you very much for joining. Finally, Hayashi-san.
Okay, so my name is Iko Hayashi, and I'm not sure if I'm the right person to be in this panel because I'm not the mentor at all, but I'm the organizer of this program. So yeah, I will share my insights as from the viewpoint of the organizer. So my background is in pharmaceutical sciences. I was a in vitro biologist by training, and I worked for several pharmaceutical companies, both in the US and Japan. And so I've been with Link-J for 1 year. So I joined Link-J and Mitsui Fudosan last May. And so before that, I was working with Bayer and as a kind of business development and external innovation person. So that's experience gave me the kind of how to nurture a startup ecosystem in Japan and how to connect the ecosystem in Japan to the global market like one in the UK. So I'm really happy to initiate this UNIKORN program with the help from the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. And we look forward to have the second UNIKORN program and the third and so on. So in the future. So to do that, we need to have a successful program this year. So I'm really happy to see all the UNIKORN families, the 8 companies joined to this program. So I really looking forward to it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And Hayashi knows like a global ecosystem, US, UK as well. So maybe I will ask a question in the panel. Right. So I am the timekeeper, MC role as well. And we have 30 minutes counting in the front. And the first topic is why UK? So this is like a typical question for doing an international program, and we promote doing soft landing, etc., to the UK market. But second question is why not US? Why not China? Why UK? Right. So I will appoint a single person as a representative, the speaker, and may first the rep is maybe Philip. And you've been working for the large corporate, and maybe you know the size of the investment and for the in terms of like a corporate venture capital point of view. What's your opinion for the UK market in terms of investment portfolios?
Thank you for asking that question. Why the UK to a French guy? Yes, that's a kind of very embarrassing question, but I will recognize that this is the right question and the right country to consider for this. Yeah, I forgot to mention I'm also a venture partner to 4Bio Capital, which is in the background of my screen. And so it's actually a UK-based VC, which is focusing on advanced therapies. And so I learn a lot with them also on this sector. Why the UK? You know, you could remember when Yamanaka Sensei received this Nobel Prize. He received a Nobel Prize, and in Japan, everybody was very proud, but we tend to forget he received a Nobel Prize, which was a co-Nobel Prize, which was also given to another scientist who was originating from the UK, you know, Sir John Gurdon. So research doesn't happen in one country at one time, you know, it happens around the world at the same time. And so why the UK? I think the UK, first of all, is a very nice gateway to enter Europe. If you look at the numbers from the side of the VC sector, you know, like 30% in the worst case scenario, but 30 to 40% of all the company creations of the deals, what happens to be seen in the PitchBook database for Europe are occurring in the UK in any year. And the numbers of such deals in a country which is twice smaller than Japan in terms of population is more or less 4 times bigger than the ones that we have in Japan. You know, Japan has about 80 deals per year in the last 2-3 years. Series A, Series B, or formation deals. In the UK, you get like 300 to 400 of those deals. Europe is 1,200 or more, and US is 2,000 or more average. You know, I'm not counting specific years because the trends are a bit down during the last 2 years. Remember those things just to say that. So the numbers just talk to themselves. You know, the UK is an entry. If you want to meet with scientists, if you want to meet with capital, if you want to meet with big pharma, obviously 2 out of the top 10 global pharmaceutical companies are located in the UK, you know, AstraZeneca and GSK. Another country of relevance to Europe would be Switzerland with Roche and Novartis, but otherwise you would have Sanofi in France, and that's it. 5 other companies are from the US. UK and the US, actually the UK, when you enter the UK, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The UK is a fantastic access also to the US, and many of the British scientists are actually studying afterwards to the US or do a career in the US, then return to the UK and continue to support venture companies and create new things in their home country or elsewhere in the world. So I think considering the UK as an entry for both the US and the Europe first and the UK itself is a very smart opportunity for this. I will stop there because maybe there are more questions and you may have some other compliments coming from my colleagues here.
No, thank you very much. Because I didn't know you're from France.
Yeah. Nobody's perfect.
Maybe Yura-san from Embassy is quite delighted that you pointed the good things in the UK, and maybe our British friends, Samuel is from Australia. Any other additional comments?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I'm in the fortunate position where I've actually done this. I've actually taken a company from Australia and moved it over to the UK. And, predominantly it was for access to technology. It was for access to networks. It was for, working with Oxford University as well. And the opportunity that is here to actually prepare yourself onto a global stage is significant. When I was running my company, we were able to develop clients and customers all over the world. Which I tried to do or endeavored to do back in Australia, which was a lot more difficult. The perceived distance of Australia to the rest of the world certainly did impact on not our ability to deliver on the software solutions we were providing, but the perception of our ability to deliver. So yes, I certainly am a big fan of the UK market and the potential to grow businesses beyond your own shore within the UK, Europe, and then obviously US as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Any others, Tim?
Yeah, sure. Just to try and add to what's been said before, it's a question that I've often asked myself is why the UK? And I remember sitting in a McDonald's in Marble Arch in London with a Mexican who just won this big competition to get support from the UK for his technology business. And he really nailed it for me. And he'd been all over the world in all the different ecosystems for support. And he said, the thing about the UK is it's small. And being small and being quite advanced and mature, it's very well connected. So if you're going to get help, you'll get it quickly. And if you don't, then you can move out. And that's one of them. So being very small and highly connected helps you to access resources quickly. So there's an efficiency of the ecosystem. And the other one was just our experience in global business and global trade. As a country, our networks out to other parts of the world are strong. Our experience is strong. And so being able to check into the UK, get what you need and check out again, and that checking out may likely be to the US, I think offers a great, as one of my colleagues said, a great step onto perhaps bigger ecosystems. Let's not kid ourselves that the UK can compete on a scale that the US has, because we can't. But we're smart enough to realize that and think of ways in which we can help work with other ecosystems in order to access the resources we don't have in the UK from other places. So, and I think I'll just finish by saying that a lot of this is to do with timing. And although we see an awful lot of growth in a lot of other ecosystems, there's a lot of focus, particularly in the life science community in the UK. So the timing may well be good in order to be part of a huge sector growth that we think will happen in this country.
I'd just like to quickly add to that. I think what it provides is what we call a credible stepping stone. So if you have the ability to make it within the UK, well, then obviously you have developed enough of a business or enough of a business proposition that it will have global appeal. I think is probably a good way to put it.
Great, thank you very much. I think the key word is a gateway for the global. And I do agree because yeah, US is quite huge market, but if you enter, you don't have to go out. But if in the UK, it's a nice scale, and maybe you can fly out to the Europe and the US and other places as well, depending on the market of your businesses. Cool, thank you very much. And as a timekeeper, maybe I go to the second question. Is mainly your the leaders, Marcus. So you've been doing like a lot of like a region medicine business, and you did like a 0 to 1 businesses, either like a Definigen, etc. And I co-worked with him, and the Definigen did a lot of pivoting on the process of the business development. I think this is quite important processes for the startup companies. You cannot stick on the original philosophies from the university, but I think you did quite well with connecting to the university professional, and then you managed as a company doing nice pivoting or agile ways. Can you comment how you managed?
Yeah, so with a company called Definigen, it was a stem cell discovery tool company, and we had reasonable sales with pharma. We were able to penetrate, I would call it, the US Boston biotech sector. And that really was, and perhaps this is where the UK ecosystem can be quite advantageous, because what we were able to do was we slightly pivoted the business. We started off as discovery tool. Then we combined CRISPR with iPS technology to produce liver cell types, pancreatic cells, and sold them to Boston Biotech and Big Pharma. And so that enabled us to pivot and scale the business, because these complex service offerings, you could charge a lot more. So the scale of the contracts went from 50,000 for a few vials of cells up to 500,000, $1 million to generate bespoke cells. So it was all about the value proposition when you were facing the Boston Biotech. And just on a specific point about the UK ecosystem, really, we were able to use the Cambridge name because we had Cambridge professors. And so, for example, we would go to Kendall Square in Boston, well, Boston, Cambridge, and then Binney Street, where a lot of the big pharmaceutical companies are. And we were able to get what you would call FaceTime with the vice presidents of some of these. In Boston, particularly, I would say they're highly monetized or highly capitalized. They have a lot of money, but not much time. So they tend to be quite dynamic in their decision making. So I would suggest in that scenario, the Cambridge name helped us get FaceTime, higher value sales opportunity, and grow the business in a way that wouldn't otherwise be possible. And obviously you need the substance behind the science, but that was a tangible pivot that enabled us to go from 50K contracts to $500,000 and $1 million contracts. And you can build on that actually, because that experience enabled us to work with Cambridge University and set up a cell therapeutic vehicle based on some of these experiences, and take that vehicle and the cell therapy asset to acquisition within 12 months of setting up that company, which is quite unusual. And so that's how you can build on the ecosystem, the experiences, and get to a point of scaling and pivots to acquisition and value creation, I would say. So the UK is small. I'll talk about Cambridge because I've lived there for a few years now, but it really is a small town with a big university. And so in the context of Link-J and potentially Japanese companies coming into the UK, I would say one, Japanese companies are well thought of in the UK and Cambridge high technology hubs in the UK because they tend to have a strong patent position in science, and that de-risks it as a foreign company coming into the UK. There have been some notable deals between Japanese corporates and Cambridge companies, and that's actually incentivized key UK investors to be involved. There was a company called Cellmogrify, which got investment from Astellas, and I think they've got a building just here, and that, at least in part, enabled a major UK investor called Parkwalk, which is one of the biggest investors in the UK, to invest in that company. So the Japanese are well viewed in terms of science, patent portfolio. So hopefully this program can really develop well.
Cool, thanks very much. So in short, the reason why UK is good at doing pivoting and aligning the business portfolio is because you can access to the global stakeholders, ecosystems easily.
Yeah, and I think it is relatively easy to start a company in the UK. It's a relatively dynamic environment compared to Europe. So as it's a great landing point, and then you can go into the big market, the US.
Cool, thank you. Any comment from online in terms of the business pivoting portfolio management? Maybe some did quite a lot for the previous company.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we can also group, we've talked about Cambridge, we could group Oxford and Imperial into that as well. And I've worked with I've done a bit with Imperial just recently, and some of the startups and the international startups that are working with them are absolutely world leading and cutting edge, and they've been given the opportunity here to not only bring maybe the technology they've developed overseas, but also to combine that with technology to actually solve real problems. One of the interesting things when you move into new markets, we can often expect that the problems or challenges that you're solving are exactly the same in other countries as well, and that may not be the case. There may need to be, in some senses of the word, technology translation or a slight shift or pivot with respect to the problems that it's solving. So I think one of the keys for growing a business internationally is ensuring that you do keep an open mind with respect to how the market will act, how the market will behave, how you interact with customers, because it may not be what you initially expect, and you may need to build more relationships, or you may need to develop your relationships in different ways. You may need to leverage off of companies, other organizations, in order to get your product or service offering into the market, or you may need to modify it slightly. So, and this is where being involved with institutions like Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial, and these others as well, which are world-leading universities, is incredibly handy. And I know myself, we've had situations where customers, we haven't really been able to 100% fulfill what the customer requirements were. So I basically went back to the university and said, okay, I need an academic that does this, 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 and this. And okay, cool, go and talk to Professor John Smith over there, or go and talk to, because as a CEO of a startup, I was always looking at being innovative. I was always looking at pushing the boundaries on how we could grow our service offering.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. So there's a keywords for the translational and the universities. So maybe this will relate to my third questions. And I may appoint Tim as first the commentator, and he's working for the University Tech Transfer Office, and he knows how to manage the university TLO. And it is quite important for the Japanese startups to have a collaboration with picking up nice key opinion leaders, etc. And in terms of the why UK part, Tim, why British University is good to be selected as a partners for the collaboration?
Right. Okay. Well, that's a great question. I think the first thing that springs to mind is the quality of the science and the credibility of the research. It's something that's very precious to us, and it's something that we must continue to develop. I think that there are some cultural similarities there's a lot of differences, but there are some areas of commonness between Japanese culture in universities and UK culture, and I think that they are important to benefit from. But firstly, it's the quality of the research. Sometimes also one of those common points is the fact that we're all still developing. Maybe I don't have enough experience of other ecosystems like the US, but British universities are still working it out. We might produce great research, but we're still working out how to get it out there. It is an absolute priority for us to do so. And I think that that is one of the great attractions, in that this is a very, very active environment to try and develop technology and spin it out. And we've also moved on, because the focus now of the UK university sector is on scaling. The focus is not on necessarily producing new businesses, because we can do all that, but is how do we support these existing businesses to scale? And the attention and the spotlight is now turning on how UK universities can impact the regional economy and can impact specific sectors. And the best way to do that is to help businesses scale. And that's a great opportunity for companies that are coming into this ecosystem, because these are the companies that already exist that we want to understand how we can help scale. So I think that there is an alignment of interests here in how we can help existing businesses within some of these ecosystems that are pretty specialist and well developed.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I continue a question to Tim? For the Japanese, golden triangle is very common. Everyone goes to London, Cambridge, Oxford, and Tim was in Oxford and now appointed as like a TLO head in the Warwick University. What is other than golden triangle area for that in terms of collaboration?
Well, if I was a Japanese SME, I would start with the Golden Triangle. As UK government, God bless them, have reminded us in the past, just like many countries across the world, including the US, there is an interest in what we call levelling up, which is how we help build and share prosperity across the country. And it's not all attracted into the Golden Triangle. The problem is that that's where all the resource is, and that's where all the talent is. And so it would be, you would be ill-informed if your first stop in the UK was some of the other provincial universities that I wouldn't name. But I would start in the Golden Triangle and I would work out from there. There are benefits outside of these, and the UK Golden Triangle is no different from any other cluster in any other ecosystem. But once you're there and you've understood what the value is for you in being there, then you can benefit from lower cost collaborations, manufacturing partnerships outside of that environment. But you have to start with where you are, and none of us should ever forget, including the Japanese ecosystem, that these leading environments need to be continued to be supported and developed, and not because they want to also ensure they remain at the top of their country's ecosystem, but that they can operate and compete globally too. Because, and I'll just finish with this point, and I think this plays to the value and the potential of the companies from Japan that we're going to be supporting on this program. Capital is not the limiting asset. The limiting asset is bloody good projects and opportunities. And therefore, as ecosystems, that is the limiting resource. And so we're all competing. So it's a great pleasure and privilege for us to have in our ecosystem the opportunity to support that limited resource, which is what I'm sure are bloody good projects on this program. And so there's a great attraction and there's a great opportunity for whether you're in the Golden Triangle or outside of it, to have an opportunity to support, build, internationalize that limited resource, which is these very good projects.
Thank you. Yes, because everyone wants to go to the Golden Triangle first, but there's a disadvantage as well, such as the equities quite high, etc. Marcus.
No, you're right. And it starts off with the Golden Triangle. And then in the UK, there's a Russell group of universities, which I think is 10 or 12, which sits just below that. And then there are a range of universities that tend to be good in specialist areas. The issue there is a lot of them don't have huge tech transfer departments. So the performance of the patenting and licensing functions can be patchy, uneven. So that's something to consider. Yeah.
Cool, thank you. Yes, thank you. And okay, everyone is very talkative and only 6 minutes. So maybe I cannot miss Hayashi-san to have a question. Yeah, I think he studies in the US, having a nice US accent. And you are managing international ecosystems with having a more bridging to the Link-J collaboration, and you did a world tour to Boston ecosystem, and you eventually came to the UK. We met them. What was the impression for the differences, for example?
So you mean the difference between the US and the UK ecosystems? So yeah, as a typical Japanese, I visited the Golden Triangle last November, the London, Oxford, and Cambridge, and what I heard there was, of course, the US ecosystem, well, Boston in particular, is way ahead of UK, EU, and in Japan, and probably 10 or 15 years ahead of us, and the UK is probably 5 years ahead of Japan. So in a sense, UK's situation is much similar to what we have in Japan. So of course, it's natural to think that you think the US as a primary location or primary destination, but UK might be I wouldn't say easier, but easier as compared to the how to penetrate into the US ecosystem. So what I'd like to say is that so in terms of a global expansion, of course, the science matters, yes, but even if you have a good science, if you're not visible inside the ecosystem, it doesn't it doesn't grow, basically. You need to be visible inside the ecosystem, and from that point of view, the US ecosystem of Boston is too competitive. Too many startups, too many VC firms, too many, etc., etc. So as compared to that, in the UK ecosystem, especially in Oxford and Cambridge, it's big but still walkable. Everyone knows everyone's face, and you can talk with anyone. Probably I'm reiterating what Sam and Tim and Philip said, but it's really important for you to be visible inside the ecosystem to get support or help that you need to grow. So that's the impression that I have. And so when we started planning this UNIKORN program or applying for this Tokyo Metropolitan's program, we asked the question, why the UK? Why not the US? But after visiting the UK, we were really convinced that UK could be the third location for Japanese startups. Because we are providing options for startups in Japan. So that's my impression in terms of ecosystem.
Cool, thank you, thank you. Yes, as Hassan mentioned, like we have a common word that US is a bit like overheated for the in terms of investment and quite high and shorter ROI, etc. So, yeah, would you agree? Maybe some.
Yes, I have being someone that's come from Australia, built business in the UK. We also were growing in the US as well, and I was fortunate enough to win the MIT Sloan Sports Tech Boston pitch competition, which was quite a large event. But one thing I did find about the US market is they were absolutely on the ball, and they are surrounded by good science, as we are here as well. But good science doesn't build the business. You can have the most amazing science in the world, but if you can't build a business around it, then you're not competitive. And what I found in the US is that they were really hot on that as well, and as we should be here. So that's something to really keep in mind, because quite often what I find is that academics will go, it's the best in the world. Well, that's great. What's your business model? How is it scalable? Who do you need to employ? You know, outline your financial plan. What talent do you need? You know, how are you going to acquire customers? How are you competitive in the market? Who are your competitors? What's your price point? All of these things that if you're not absolutely on the ball as well, like you generally are with the technology, that's the challenge. That's a huge challenge.
Oh, thanks. Philip, comment?
Yeah, I would like to remind some statistics. You know, I saw recently, it was quoted in The Economist at the end of May, actually, and also probably built on data from IQVIA, saying that 70% of the ongoing initial clinical trials that are taking place currently, phase 1 to 3, are made by biotech companies or small biotechnology companies. So when you think of this, it means the world innovation is coming from smaller companies, the startups. You know, they are the ones who create innovation. It's not coming from big pharma. In that context, the position of Japan is a bit embarrassing in a way. You know, Japan is a country I support and love, but 4% only of those trials are done in Japan or coming from Japan. So I think that Link-J initiative is also trying to inspire people from Japan to be aware of the global context and build on the capabilities beyond the ones of Japan. We tend to see companies focusing on the local environment, the local IP, the local regulatory circumstances, but forgetting the competition, the competitive intelligence, the CMC aspects, which could be solved by partnering outside of Japan, and other things which are maybe found in those places that we mentioned, like the Golden Triangle in the UK, in London, Oxford, Cambridge. But also one difference with Japan, when we kind of comment, if I may comment on this, is that in the UK, you get universities, as was mentioned, for example, by Tim. You know, you can talk about Warwick, but this university was visiting Japan again a month ago, I think, or 2 months ago. I joined some of the meetings they attended, and they were talking to various famous institutes of Japan, building relationship about AMR and other programs in order to develop some commonalities between the two countries and research areas where they could contribute to each other. But I met, for example, one of the professors from Warwick. He was typically trained in Oxford, and he studied in the US, came back to Oxford, and then was in Warwick. And then he's also a dean or a head of Monash University in Australia. So he has a real responsibility of people as a professor in Australia, and is visiting there, and is visiting Japan to promote the kind of ecosystem of and the relationship between the two countries, and he's returning to the UK. You know, so I never heard that the University of Hokkaido or Fukuoka was visiting the UK or doing the same things. You know, but you can see that the difference there is that you have the famous triangle, but you have also a lot of very competent other universities doing a lot of things and able to accommodate, you know, those people who have been trained in the Golden Triangle, who have been going to the US because they speak the same language. Of course, it facilitates. And then they come back and then they can progress and develop some future students and researchers. So I think, of course, it would take too much time if we want to talk about the Japanese system and what should be reformed. But I think studying the UK from that perspective is also very interesting, and not forgetting that in this world, we are data-driven. So it's not just because we have one phenomenon on some mice that we conclude that everything is solved. We need to have a proof of concept in humans. We need to have data, and when you have data, then capital markets will follow you. So that I think is something very important for our biotechs, and being exposed to this world and going to the UK, I think is a very good starting point, to develop themselves and acquire knowledge and maybe new talents, also collaborate and build beyond the Japanese ecosystem, which has its own limitation as one single country, which is, by the way, becoming not bigger than the German market nowadays. And when I started my career in Japan, it was bigger than the total European market. So we have to remember the numbers a little bit from time to time.
Thank you very much, Philippe. And I think got new collaboration in the mentor pool. Great to have a global mentor team. Thank you very much. And timekeepers are but and we are already behind. So we will close this session, and we have a networking session with on site. And for the people, specialists from online, thank you very much for joining. Thank you. Upon appreciation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
So much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Philippe. Bye, Sam.
Bye. Talk to you soon.
Right. I am responsible for the closing remarks, and I was prepared doing in Japanese, but maybe speaking English is comfortable. And I think thanks very much for joining today, and thanks for the Link-J team. There's two words. I like the naming of the the Link-J team. So they are very good at making a new brand. The one is a unicorn. I quite like this name. Unicorn, the C becomes K for reminding UK. And the second word is a unicorn family. So what is the definition of the family? Family is should be continuous. And you are the first member of the delegate, and it's quite important, challenging. It's always challenging and having risk doing some things from zero, like you guys doing for the startup business. And this is a quite big challenge for us as well as an organizer. If the program is not successful, we cannot get next year projects. So I think your contribution is quite important, and you can use our mentor team as much as possible. Don't be hesitated, and we will help. Marcus will help, and we are quite good people. And maybe if this program continues to the following year, next year, you are the first senpai of the team, and you will influence to them. So this is my request, and hopefully this program continues, although this is just started. So this is my message. And today we talked about why UK, and if this program can increase your knowledge, understanding, or familiarize to the UK market, that will be our pleasure. So thanks very much for joining, and we want to close this session. Thanks.